No one asked, but today let's talk about how to film yourself. I'm a filmmaker. I create films, ads, music videos, and documentaries. But when it comes to filming myself, it gets pretty awkward. But once you know how to film yourself, it actually becomes one of the best skills you'll ever have. The reason I wanted to learn how to film myself because I don't want to keep waiting for my friends or relying on other people whenever I want to make something. And to be honest, the friend I ask for help are often super late. I'm also camera shy. I rarely ask anyone to take photos of me, let alone record me on video. And I can't afford to hire people to help me yet. So I have to learn this myself. And eventually I did. Every single video on this channel, I film it myself. So here are a few steps I took to get comfortable filming myself while still keeping it looking cinematic. The first one is the gear. The camera I use is Sony FX30, but don't worry, you can use any camera you have. I only bought the FX30 because I'm a filmmaker, so I have to convince the clients a little with my gear. But you don't have to. Back then, I used Canon 100D for all my films. Even I won a film festival with it. And even if you don't have camera, you can still use your phone. Phone cameras today are definitely better than my old camera, Canon 100D at least. But if you're using something like a potato phone, you still can use that. I have a trick to make your footage look cinematic or at least aesthetic. And I'll share that at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. And then of course, you'll need a tripod. Any kind of tripod is fine. What matters is having something to hold your camera. Now, one thing you don't necessarily need but is great if you have is a magic arm. You can use it to mount your camera in a weird or tricky angles to get more creative and engaging shots. But make sure not to buy the really cheap ones. They can actually damage your camera, which will cost you even more in the long run. And to be honest, I have a dream camera that would make filming myself so much easier and more free. It's the DJI Pocket. If you really love vlogging outside, I think this one would come in really handy. But for now, I don't really need it, so I'm just using what I have for now. Second one, the audio. For audio, I actually have a microphone, but I don't really use it because I find it, like there's always a problem with the cables. It's always like having some static noise and I don't really like it. So instead of using that, as you can see, I'm using my phone here. There's a lot of people already using phone, especially iPhone, but mine is just some Android phone, like a potato phone. It works really well. Not well, but you have to put it on some Adobe enhancer, to clean up the voice. So I think for me, at least, this works. But I think you guys should buy a new microphone or buy a better microphone than this. So yeah, for me, this is the thing that I use. So yeah. Alright, so you got your camera, mic, but your video still doesn't look cinematic. Of course not. You need lighting. Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell you to buy expensive lighting like Godox, Aperture, or Redhead, or anything like that. If you're just starting out, you don't really need to buy expensive lighting, you just need a good lighting. That could be a regular lamp, a desk lamp, or even just a sunlight. For me, I only have two $15 softbox and a few desk lamps, and I think that's good enough because I use a technique called 3-point lighting. 3-point lighting is a standard setup in photography and videography using 3 light sources to illuminate a subject. These lights are the key light, fill light, and backlight. Key light, this is your main light source. Fill light, this softens the shadows created by the key light. Backlight, this goes behind your subject, often above or below. Of course, there are many other lighting techniques you can explore depending on your space, like Rembrandt lighting, clamshell lighting, or just experimenting based on your setup and condition. Number 4. Framing and shots. So now you got the camera, the lighting, and the microphone. But how do you actually film yourself? You can use the classical Hollywood style. Classical Hollywood refers to the mainstream cinematic techniques used by big Hollywood studios. This style focuses on clarity, strong storytelling, and emotional impact using specific shot choices. Simply put, they usually use a sequence of shots starting from establishing shot, wide shot, medium shot, close-up, to extreme close-ups. The goal is to clarify the context of a scene, from the setting to expression and details. So when you're deciding to make a shot list, just follow that order from wide to tight shot. And once you understand it, then you're free to experiment with your own style. And the tips is, if you don't have a good or decent camera, or at least really bad camera, it's this old phone of mine, you can use aspect ratio, especially the 1:1 aspect ratio. And somehow it looks cinematic, just like this video, like this black bar, right and left black bar. I don't know what the psychology behind it, or probably because it reminds us of the classical film, but I can say it works. But in the end, all of this is our effort to make our video to look more cinematic, like something came out of movies. Even though cinematic is a term that shouldn't be thrown around lightly, because true cinematic qualities involve way more than just technical stuff. It's about the story, acting, costumes, setting, props, basically the entire mise-en-scene. And one of the most important parts to make something cinematic is the motivation behind every choices. Every element needs to have purpose and meaning. And that's when we can truly call it cinematic. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. See you in the next video. Subscribe.